Welcome to Villains with Vaughn, Episode 5. Villains with Vaughn is a podcast dedicated to shining light on some would-be villains that might escape the public eye, cases that are strange and abnormal, and even discussing local cases that are small but not forgotten. Today, we explore the somewhat sad case of Wade Wilson and ask all of you listening, was he a wolf in sheep's clothing all along? Or were the injuries he sustained as a child truly the cause of his madness? Senseless creatures, you don't see how much evil is concealed under a little good appearance. Giovanni Boccaccio. Wade Wilson is a name synonymous with violence, destruction, and death. The Wade Wilson most people know, Marvel's mouthy anti-hero Deadpool, is a skilled killer. He performs his work quickly and easily, sometimes for money, sometimes in cold blood, but often to suit his rapidly shifting morality and loyalty. Despite his profession, this Wade Wilson has humanity, a conscience, and is widely adored. The Wade Wilson we are discussing today is also adored, but by all the wrong people, and for all the wrong reasons. Born on May 20th, 1994, to teenage parents, Wade's beginning was tough. His mother suffered a plethora of mental health issues and addiction. At 15, she was hardly fit to raise a baby, and Wade was put up for adoption. Candy and Stephen Wilson, a couple who attended church with the family of Wade's mother, ended up adopting him sometime after he was born. Wade's adoptive parents said he was a good child. He was a well-adjusted and active member of the family. He was a decent student. He was a fantastic athlete. Unfortunately, while playing sports, Wade sustained several head injuries and concussions. This could explain his shift in behavior, though it was never medically explored. When Wade turned 13, things took a dark turn. He became paranoid and reclusive, and by his own admission, a heavy drug user. He felt as though people were watching his family, and that there was something in the garage. After his adoptive father found nothing, police were called, but they also found nothing. When Wade's adoptive father found drugs in the house, he enforced the Baker's Act, also known as the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971. The Baker's Act allows for people to be committed for mental health assessment and treatment both voluntarily and involuntarily. Wade was released the following day. He was eventually suspended from school for selling drugs. Wade's biological father, Stephen Testaseca, said that at age 18, his son reached out to him to reconnect. They would speak over the phone and Wade would call whenever he needed something. It was usually money. At 18, and then again at 20, Wade received more head injuries and another concussion due to car accidents. He had CT scans to look for damage to the brain, but no MRIs were ever performed. An MRI would have given more thorough information about Wade's brain and any possible impact the damage had on his personality and behavior. Beginning in 2010, Wade was in and out of prison regularly. He racked up charges for over 20 crimes, among which were assault and fraud. In 2018, Wade dated a woman named Kelly Matthews. She took to TikTok to share her story of dating the man. According to her, he was polite and charming in the beginning. There wasn't any evidence of his abusive nature for the first 6 months of their relationship. However, he changed when he started using cocaine. Kelly said that in 2019, Wade claimed to want to go to rehab in the Florida Keys. He took Kelly and drove hours away from her home. Here, he would tie her up and sexually assault her in the car, biting her face in the process. When he eventually untied her, he handed her the car keys and left. She claimed she drove 100 miles per hour all the way home in hopes of being pulled over. She did report what Wade had done to her once she got home, but the police never took the case any further. According to Kelly, she never even knew his name was Wade until finding a letter addressed to him. He went by the name Stephen, for most of their relationship, which also happens to be the name of both his adoptive and biological fathers. Prior to his relationship with Kelly, Wade was allegedly dating another woman who he ended up sexually assaulting as well. And then, after Kelly, he was in a relationship with a man who he stabbed. If true, neither of these cases were ever pursued by law enforcement. In October 2019, Wilson's crimes took a deadly turn. While out at a bar, Wade met 35-year-old Kristin Melton and her friend Stephanie Sailors. Kristin would invite Wade to accompany them back to her home. This was a mistake that would end her life. After Stephanie left and Kristin was asleep in her bed, Wade would take advantage of the situation to do something he had never done before. He would strangle Kristin to death in her sleep. When she was dead, he would steal her car and flee the scene. A few hours later, Diana Ruiz, a 43-year-old engaged mother of two, was walking home after work when Wilson crossed her path. Under the guise of needing directions, the charming man lured a helpful-to-a-fault Diana into his stolen car. While she was in the vehicle, Wilson attacked Diana and strangled her to death as well. Afterward, he shoved her out of the car, ran her body over repeatedly, then fled. Following the murders, Wade called his biological father to brag about his crimes. Despite originally believing it was just another of his son's stories, Testa would contact the police and assist them in apprehending Wilson. During one of Wade's calls, Testa asked for his location so that he could send him an Uber. Wilson's ride would end up being a police cruiser instead. On October 8th, 2019, Wade Wilson was arrested in connection to the murders of Kristin Melton and Diana Ruiz. In his original police interview, Wilson openly admitted to the killings. He had also admitted to the crimes over the phone to others, but later denied doing so. He also recanted his statement to the police. This, plus previous and current police medical records, helped create an image of Wade for the trial. During a prior prison stay, Wilson self-reported depression and mania and told arresting officers he was bipolar. Official diagnoses included depression, anxiety, schizoaffective disorder, defiance disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. Records also state that he suffered yet another head injury when jumped by 3 other prisoners. After Wilson's arrest in 2019, he did not spend the years leading up to his 2024 trial quietly. He joined a white supremacy group called Unforgiven and proceeded to get a variety of facial tattoos, including several swastikas and the now well-known stitches across his mouth. In 2020, he and his cellmate were accused of tampering with a window in their cell in an attempt to escape. Wilson was discovered to be the primary planner and even tried to set up a getaway car. In 2023, Wilson was discovered to be trafficking drugs in prison. At some point during his incarceration, one inmate tried to hire Wade to orchestrate a hit on their ex. Wade reported this to jail authorities. Wilson also solicited an interview with NBC2, where he claimed he was being framed for the murders by an organized crime ring he was a part of. He told NBC2 the ring was also responsible for human and drug trafficking. Authorities investigated the claims, but found no evidence to support Wilson's statements. When the trial finally moved forward, the defense presented 2 expert witnesses. Dr. Hyman Eisenstein, a neuropsychologist, and Dr. Mark Mills, a forensic psychiatrist. After reviewing statements and medical records, Eisenstein concluded that Wade likely had significant frontal lobe impairment that affected executive function. The frontal lobe is responsible for impulse control, organization, problem-solving, emotional regulation, and motor skills. He also said there was impairment to the right side of Wade's brain. Dr. Mills said Wade suffered a psychotic disorder. But as Wade was uncooperative during interviews, he couldn't be specific. Wilson's attorney, Lee Hollander, told the court, "I am not arguing insanity. I'm arguing the state is claiming premeditation. I'm arguing he's whacked out of his mind for any of this." Throughout the trial, Wilson's defense used drugs and poor mental state as excuses for his actions. The prosecution, in turn, painted Wilson as a cold-blooded killer, someone smug and soulless who was completely in his right mind. They would cite interviews and his own confessions in their arguments against him. Wade was quoted as telling detectives, "I would do it again." Wade Wilson was found guilty on all counts of first-degree murder, grand theft, burglary, battery, and petty theft on June 12, 2024. On June 25th, the jury recommended the death sentence. As of writing, Wilson's sentencing is scheduled for August 27, 2024. Wilson's story doesn't end here, however. Photos from Wilson's trial hit the internet, and the man became a social media sensation. Fans and admirers flooded online platforms with their declarations of support and adoration. Judge Nicholas R. Thompson has been bombarded with letters pleading for Wilson's sentence to be reduced or even for him to be released. Hundreds of women have declared he's far too attractive to be in prison. The man himself has received nearly 4,000 love letters. Unfortunately, Wilson is not the first person convicted of heinous crimes to garner a massive fan base and keeps company with the likes of Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez. One of Wade's admirers is a woman named Kristin Morton. Alleged to be his current girlfriend, Kristin is a woman with her own arrests for drug charges and met Wade when she sent him money through the jail's kiosk system. The pair spoke on the phone about a variety of topics, even laughing over Wilson's victims and crimes. She had also set up a GoFundMe for Wilson, which has since been deleted. New information is constantly coming up in regard to Wade Wilson and his life in prison. On August 20th, the judge granted an order for a CT scan and an MRI of Wilson's brain. It remains to be seen if the results, alongside impassioned pleas from fans, will have any effect on Wilson's sentencing and the inevitable appeals. As of August 27, 2024, Judge Nicholas Thompson sentenced Wade Wilson to death for his crimes against Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz. Wade is to be transported to the Florida State Prison in Ryford, where he will spend his remaining time awaiting his execution, which may take anywhere from months to years to carry out. As always, we wish to thank you for tuning in to Villains with Vaughn and hope that each case we present grants you new insight on the villains therein. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can be notified whenever a new episode drops. If you ever have a villain we've yet to cover that you'd like the world to know more about, let us know in the comments below.